Oh, sweet childhood. Wasn't Power Rangers everything you could ask for in a superhero show? Great characters, a catchy theme song, and some sweet toys. But by now it's no mystery that it was originally a Japanese show called Super Sentai, or Super Squadron, which is still running today, 37 years. They used their fight scenes, dubbed them, threw in some scenes with American actors, and for the most part, this worked out just fine. However, once in a while, something would feel off or look wrong. As much as we would hate to admit it, the footage did not always match. So, just for fun, and while I'm going through my endless struggles to finish the final Where Are They Now, let's take a look at what I consider the top 10 worst transitions from Super Sentai. Take note, this list is purely opinion-based. These are my top 10. I do not consider it facts, nor do I consider it superior to any other list. Kindly leave a comment with your own list if you disagree. Alright then. Number 10. Spotting the Sentai actors. By that I mean whenever you would actually notice one of the Japanese actors. Now the reason this is so low on the list is because it barely ever happens, and most people probably wouldn't notice. One example was on Zack's birthday. They show a clip of Goshi fighting the monster, i.e. the Black Zyuranger, but that is given an explanation. When Tommy has turned evil, it's Burai's shadow, i.e. you can tell from the hair and the shoulders didn't match. Not a big deal, but only number 10. Number 9. Thunder Slingers clearly say Zyuranger. Shortest explanation. They get the new weapons, but you can clearly see the writing on it saying Zyurangers. Number 8. The Crystals. Overall, the writing wasn't great, but acceptable. However, this just made no sense. In Zyurangers, the crystals were needed to combine the mechs in the first place, and that is what they were used for in Power Rangers, but they could already do that. It begs an explanation. Number 7. The Yolks on You episode, The Story of the Eggs. Again with the writing. I actually have not seen this episode of Zyurangers, believe it or not, but I could still tell it apart. Fang is all upset that its eggs were eaten when it wanted to eat them itself for lunch, and even cried over it. Really? A lost lunch? You don't think maybe there's some other reason those eggs being eaten would inspire tears? Number 6. Green Ranger's constant absence. In order to compensate for the lack of Green Ranger stock footage, they kept making up some stupid reasons as to why Tommy kept missing the beginning of a fight and only showed up at the end for the Megazord battle. And Zyurangers leaving the fight slowly killed the Green Ranger or Dragon Ranger Burai. Now I'm not saying they had to go that far with Power Rangers, but some sort of continuing story to explain why would have been nice. Which they did do a good job with later with the Zhu 2 footage with the limited powers. Number 5. Rita and Scorpedo's dubbing. Before Lord Zed, Rita and Scorpedo, yes, Scorpedo did appear in one other episode, were just dubbed over from their stock footage, and between the lack of lip sync and the awkward facial expressions, this one just came out silly.
We'll start today!
Number 4. Frankenstein Monster. This one is based on the costume. It was nice when they actually got the monster costume for some American footage, but this was just too obvious. The scar's missing and the hair is completely different with our version of it. Not to mention that the Frankenstein monster showed up before he was even made in our storyline. Number 3. Early Thunder Megazord cuts. This one I actually found the most amusing. At the beginning of Season 2, when the Rangers first get their Thunder Zords, and when Dragon Zord was still around, the footage was still Zhu 2, which actually still used the original Megazord. They got around this by never showing the Thunder Megazord and the monster on screen together. The Megazord would attack, and then they would cut the enemy and hit. There are parts when if you slow it down, you can see the original Megazord behind the sparks. Also, this is the best. Thunder Megazord draws his sword, and it is clearly not the same kind of blade held up to the monster's throat. What makes this pick so high is that it was completely unnecessary. They could have just announced the Thunder Megazord and delayed its appearance a little longer. Maybe build up some suspense to it. They're slowly putting it together. That might have been fun. Whatever. Number 2. Green Ranger American costume. This one I'm sure you all saw coming. All of the Power Ranger costumes used in American footage were slightly inferior quality to the ones seen in stock footage, due to the stuntmen sizes in both regions, i.e., since the Japanese stuntmen were mostly the same size, they could use double-layer spandex, but in ours that was not the case, so they used a one-size-fit-all. However, with the original 5, they were acceptable. Just had bodysuits not as shiny or wrinkle-free, and the helmets had the clamps on the outside. That's okay, because trust me, you want the clamps on the outside. But the Green Rangers is just too much and too obvious. It's the wrong shade of green, the holster is completely wrong, and the shield. I don't really mind the green shading too much. I mean, I'm no artist, maybe I'm wrong. But you should note that the stock footage Green Ranger does not have a blaster or a white holster for it. He has a black one on the left side, not the right, for his dagger. Maybe that's just a nitpick, but the shield is what really kills it. With the Sentai costume, the shield was made of hard plastic and looked pretty cool. This American costume had one made out of flimsy cloth that doesn't even look like it would protect against anything, and just flopped around a bunch looking awkward. Small details that can really kill the illusion. At least they got it much better in Dino Thunder's Green Ranger costume. Although I'm not sure how I feel about the silver on the helmet, and the holster is still off, but at least it's a dagger holster. Number 1, what is the worst transition? Like you don't even know. Yellow Ranger gender swap. I know, this is an obvious pick, but for a good reason. Even if you are completely oblivious to Super Sentai's existence, well, just look at that costume and honestly tell me that you thought a woman was in there.
Yeah, Yellow Ranger! Huh? Wait a minute, hey, I'm the Yellow Ranger!
Oh, sorry you got stuck with that, Twee. Rest in peace. Well, that's all for now. The final Where Are They Now will take some time to finish, but don't leave because I've got some more videos planned in between, both Power Rangers and video game related. Till next time, this is Sendu of It'sTaleTime.net, signing out.